Hello gamers, if you are planning to build a gaming PC and your budget is around 40,000 rupees, then this is the perfect video for you. We will be using a dedicated 8GB graphics card in this build and will also be having a CPU with integrated graphics, also known as APU. This build can easily give 100 plus FPS on 1080p high settings and 60 plus FPS on 1440p. You can't be getting performance better than this at this budget. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. The first component we will be choosing for the PC is the processor. From frame rates to scalable gameplay settings, the CPU is a vital component for gaming. Most people make a mistake buying the wrong processor, and this causes issues like bottlenecking and low FPS. A CPU's clock speed and core count help to indicate its performance capabilities. The CPU substantially impacts many aspects of the latest games, including frame rates, streaming, scalable gameplay elements, including draw distance, crowd animations, destruction physics. Ultimately, finding the best gaming processor for your PC depends on what you hope to get out of your gaming experience. We will be using the AMD Ryzen 5 5600 in our current build. In this process we get 6 cores and 12 threads with 19 MB cache. This processor has a base clock speed of 3.9 GHz and max boost clock speed of 4.4 GHz. It supports a dual-channel DDR4 memory of 3200 MHz and has a thermal design power of 65 watts. It comes with integrated AMD Radeon graphics with heatsink included. For memory we will be using a dual channel of 2 XPG ADATA GAMMIX D30 DDR4 8GB 3200 MHz U-DIMM desktop memory. The price of this RAM is Rs 1799 per stick, so that will cost a total of Rs 3598 for 2 memory sticks.
2666 MHz to 4600 MHz and supports Intel X299 2666 MHz and AMD AM4 Ryzen platforms. Interface DDR4 U-DIMM 2666 to 4133 MHz, RAM size 8GB, 8 into 16GB DDR4. The GAMMIX D30 features an edgy wing-shaped design that exudes a sense of power and stealth. It weighs about 40 grams and has the dimension of 4.5 into 13.3 into 0.8 centimeters.
For the storage space we will be using the XPG GAMMIX S5 512GB PCIe General 3x4 M.2 solid-state driver SSD, which has a read speed of up to 2100 megabits per second and a write speed of up to 1500 megabits per second. The price of this SSD is 2,649 rupees. Video games have become more computationally intensive, with hyper-realistic graphics and vast, complicated in-game worlds. With advanced display technologies, such as 4K screens and high refresh rates, along with the rise of virtual reality gaming, demands on graphics processing are growing fast. GPUs are capable of rendering graphics in both 2D and 3D. With better graphics performance, games can be played at higher resolution, at faster frame rates, or both. In this build we'll be using the RX 588GB graphics card. The RX 580 graphics card has powerful graphics processing power with 1284 MHz GPU speed and high-performance gaming memory up to 7000 MHz for smoother gaming and application experience. This graphics is better than the GTX 1650. Motherboards do not directly influence your gaming performance at all. What your motherboard type will do, is allow your graphics card and processor to perform better or worse. It's sort of similar to a solid-state drive's impact on FPS. For the motherboard we will be using the GIGABYTE B450MDS3HV2 AMD Ryzen AM4 Micro-ATX M.2 HMDI DVI USB 3.1 DDR4 motherboard. The price of this motherboard is 7,985 rupees on Amazon. The power supply we will be using in this build is the Esports VS500L 500 watt non-modular continuous power gaming power supply or PSU. It has a single 12V rail. A single 12 volts rail promises reliable and consistent power delivery. Silent 120mm fan. The 120mm fan spins consistently yet quietly to keep the unit cool even under full load and is rated for 100,000 hours of lifespan. Modern connectors. Comes with all the cables for a modern high-end system including a dual 4-pin CPU connector. Constructed with passions and composed of high-grade quality components, this unit ensures a stable power supply even under high loads. High-quality components. The VS500L is made with high-quality components for reliable and consistent performance. Years warranty. The PSU comes with a full 2 years warranty. The last component in this build is the cabinet. The cabinet is the part that gives the PC the aesthetic look. The case or cabinet we will be using in this build is the Esports ICE120AG mid-tower computer case.
Case features black matte finish, acrylic side panel, liquid cooler support of one 120 by 240mm in the front and one 120mm in the rear, fan support of 3 120mm in the front, 2 120mm on the top and 2 120mm in the bottom. Cable management support, separate zone for power supply and other components. This case supports 2 HDD ports, 2 SSD ports and 7 PCI slots.
So this is the final price list of this PC build.